Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final info session for the UBC Masters of Public Policy and Global Affairs program. We'll be getting started in just a second. Thank you for all of you who are introducing yourselves in the chat. It's nice to see folks coming from all over the country and all over the world to join our info session right now. Thank you for those of you in diverse time zones as well, tuning in at all different times all over the world. My name is Krista. I'm the program manager of the MPPGA, and I am joined by the wonderful Hui, who is the program coordinator of the MPPGA. We'll be here to answer your questions today in this Q&A format info session. I'm going to start us off with a brief presentation that speaks to some of the pre-submitted questions, but during the session, please do answer all questions into the Q&A function at the bottom of the Zoom. We'll be monitoring the Q&A specifically for your questions. And then our program assistant, Ewan, will also be putting some links, and you're welcome to engage with each other in the chat, but please do make sure all questions are entered in the Q&A function. So I'm going to get us started with just a quick presentation to speak to, again, some of those pre-submitted questions you all had in your submissions. So again, we're excited about your interest in the Masters of Public Policy and Global Affairs at UBC. We think it's a great program, and we're excited to explore with you why it might be a great fit for you and answer some of your questions about the impending application deadline. As we get started, UBC itself is located in the city of Vancouver. The UBC campus is located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Hunkaminam-speaking Musqueam people. And Vancouver, more broadly, is both Musqueam land as well as the land of the Tsleil-Waututh and Squamish peoples. I am joining you from Vancouver today, so I'm grateful to those three host nations for the space. Vancouver is one of the most livable cities in the world. It's a beautiful place to be, especially in the sunshine. Right now, it's a bit rainy outside for any of you who are currently in Vancouver, but this photo represents how glorious this place can look. Speaking very briefly to the program, a lot of this information is covered in depth in the first three info sessions, which you can find online on the SPPGA YouTube channels, the School of Public Policy and Global Affairs YouTube channel. I highly encourage you to watch those info sessions if you're interested in more context around the program. The MPPGA is a full-time professional global public policy program that's delivered by the UBC School of Public Policy and Global Affairs. It focused a lot on multidisciplinary policy, analysis and design skills, as well as actively engaging on a lot of different topics, but a lot of specialization around climate change, Asia-Pacific policy, Indigenous rights, energy policy, democracy, and resource governance. So a lot of broad cross-cutting topics, but also some deep specialization in specific areas. The program offers students 3 streams that you can specialize in: development and social change, resources, energy and sustainability, and global governance and security. And students can also choose to design their own stream by picking courses that collate around a topic that they are interested in studying. So there's also the option to do that. I will not go into depth about the difference between the regular 20-month program and the accelerated 16-month program, but I highly encourage you, if you bring more than 5 years of professional experience and are coming in with a little bit more lived experience to this program, to look into the accelerated option and consider whether or not that shorter time frame might be beneficial to you if you have a lot of work experience. You can find more information about that in the first 2 info sessions as well. We had some questions about admission requirements that were pre-submitted. Applications do close for the program on January 20th, so we're quickly approaching that deadline a week from today. You do need to have the equivalent of a 4 years bachelor's degree and a minimum GPA of 76% for those coming from the US and Canada. Ewan will put a link in the chat that has the different GPA requirements for different countries, because we do know that grading systems work differently in different areas of the world. So please do explore that if you're curious about GPA requirements there. We also require English language test scores if you're coming from a place where your language of instruction was not English. So if you did your undergraduate degree and it was performed in English, this is not a requirement for you. But if you have not taken a degree in English before, those English language test scores are mandatory, and there's very little flexibility around them because they are university requirements rather than MPPGA requirements for master's degrees. As you can see, students coming from all different backgrounds. I know some of you had asked questions about the background you were coming from and whether or not it would be a disadvantage. We see the diversity of our students as a huge advantage to the program. As long as you can talk about how your training prepares you for this degree, we think that you could be a great asset. So please do consider that diversity is a great strength of this program. We also had quite a few questions about fees. So the MPPGA tuition and fees, again, we cover a little bit more in depth about finances and support in the second info session. So if you have questions there, please do review that one. But the tuition as of September 2021 is up on the screen for domestic and international students. One thing to note is for this program, the payments are spread over installments of the program, which means that you're paying equal installments throughout at those time periods, regardless of how many or how few classes you're taking at that time. So it equals out to the tuition amounts expressed there and broken down into equal chunks for payment. Additionally, the university has specific fees. So full-time graduate students can expect to pay approximately just over $1,000 Canadian per year in student fees, including a UPass, which is a transit pass, and in addition, about $264 for the extended health plan, so for healthcare support. Specific to scholarships, because I know there was questions around that. So the MPPGA does have entrance scholarships, which are awarded on the basis of quality of application. So they are merit-based scholarships. They are not needs-based scholarships. The amount of scholarships and the size of them awarded each year is relative to the quality of applications and the number of applications. So we can give you an example from last year, though those numbers might shift. So for this year's most recent cohort, about a third of the students received entrance scholarships. And those scholarships range from $8,000 Canadian to $30,000 Canadian, which are dispersed over the 2 years throughout those installments. So is helpful towards paying for the degree, but unfortunately the MPPGA does not offer full ride scholarships. So factoring that into your application and making sure that you're in a place of financial wellness in order to make sure you can succeed and not be stressed by this program will be really helpful. And additionally, though, there are a lot of different funding sources that are available. And we do have colleagues over in enrollment services who provide support for some of the financial planning for this for coming to UBC. But there's also a diversity of different awards that are external to the program as paid work opportunities, which I can speak to a little bit later with your questions. But I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Hui to speak briefly about the different external awards that some students are able to apply for. And I'm just going to switch my screen share for a second while Hui gets started.
Hi, everyone. As Krista just mentioned that the MPPGA program does offer entrance scholarships to both international and domestic students. So all the applicants to the MPPGA program will be considered automatically for the entrance scholarship. And the scholarship offer will be on your offer letter if you are admitted. And there are some internal and external funding opportunities listed under tuition and funding on the MPPGA website, which is the one Krista is sharing. So for the internal awards and scholarships, and the second one, MPPGA Merit Awards. And this one is offered to the first year students who are moving to the second year based on their exceptional academic performance. And next one, this is an internal scholarship offered to students around UBC, not only to the MPPGA students, but the preference will be given to the MPPGA students. And we also have some other UBC awards that are available to the students to apply. And some external scholarships, study in Canada scholarships was not in last year, but we will look into opportunities for this one. If you are Aboriginal students who are looking into the graduate program, the last one, you can definitely look into that. At the bottom of this page, you will notice there's a link View Awards. If you click into that one, you will be led to a list of scholarships. These are both internal UBC and external funding opportunities that our staff put together. But pay attention, this was done by October 2020. So the new list, but most of the awards and scholarships here are still available this year, and you will need to go into individual awards opportunity to check about the details, requirements, and also their deadline, because the deadline may apply differently. And yeah, these are the funding opportunities you can refer to. If you have the opportunity to go back to this tuition and funding page, you will find a very useful tool for you to use. It's called Cost of Living Calculator. And with this calculator, you can enter, choose different answers like, are you a domestic or international student, or are you single, or will be accompanied by a partner, to get a very general estimate of how much you will need for your study at UBC and in this program. So this will be a very useful resource for you to use. Okay, I'll give it back to Krista.
Great, thanks, Wei. One other thing I just wanted to mention for scholarships is that a lot of students who are international look at scholarships that are offered by and sponsorships that are offered by the country they're coming from, so their home nation. Additionally, when you're exploring scholarships options, one thing to note with the MPPGA is it is not a research-based program. It's a professional program, so scholarships that are specific to research do not apply to this program. So something to know as you navigate that exploration. Okay, so I'm just checking some of the pre-submitted questions here, Hui. There were some questions that I'm just going to cover as those Q&A keep coming through. So one question was about work opportunities after graduation. Our third